Welcome back to another episode of Mommy and Me. I am Brii Renee, straight from the A.
And I'm the original Miss Renee, straight from the A.
Girl, you from Kennesaw.
I'm not. I never lived in Kennesaw.
Mm-hmm.
Kennesaw. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, somebody.
Kennesaw. We never, man.
Somebody told me you were from Marietta.
Marietta.
Alpharetta. It was a Retta.
No, it wasn't, baby. It was straight Fourth Ward. Fourth Ward.
Fourth Ward, West Side, Carver Home.
That's
you gotta
it.
rip it
Straight up.
like a real Atlanta. That's what I'm saying. You don't even have enough Atlanta on you to be like Miss
Oh, you
Renee.
mean I don't have enough Atlanta on
like,
me?
let me
I'm
hear
an
your
original.
accent.
I'm Atlanta. This is my Atlanta accent.
Nah, that ain't it. Like Atlanta folks be like, what's up, y'all? You know, Fourth Ward, Kempton Road,
in other words, I don't have the ghetto slang. I don't have to have the ghetto slang to be.
Twang. You don't have that twang.
No, it's not a twang. That's straight up ghetto hood.
Anyway.
Okay. I don't have to be from that. I am original and originally from the A.
We're going to have to check some receipts. What high school you went to?
Luther Judson Price High.
Luther's Janitorial.
Not Luther Judson. All right. Now you can get a lot of wildcats up on your butt now.
I'm cracking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shout out to everybody that's been watching all the episodes. Clearly, we were just reading some of the comments from the episode with Chi Chi and Niasia. Super dope guests. And we just love reading the comments, hearing y'all feedback. I be telling her, see, Ma, they agree with me. They feel like me, you know.
And then I be saying, see, they agree with me. They feel like me.
They did get on me, though.
Yeah.
They really did. A lot of people got on me like, you need to stop talking to your mama like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is my podcast. I can talk to this lady however I want to. This is my couch.
No, you can't.
But, you know.
Well, but I'm glad you feel me, though. I'm glad a lot of y'all understand my pain and my struggles, the things that I've been going through, and agree with me and, you know, recognize that, you know, she could tone it down a notch.
But would that really make for great content? I feel like I would be more toned. I've learned to give you grace.
But you know what? In all honesty, I really don't give a damn.
But you should. Like, I have forgiven you.
Oh, thank you so much. As if my life was going to stop if you hadn't forgiven me. Because I really don't give a damn.
Forgive your parents, okay? For they know they did the best they could.
And parents, if they don't forgive you, as long as you know you did what was right by them and for them, don't give a damn. I mean, we're not parents, you know, trying to please, you know, our children. That was never part of my process or my thinking. Oh,
you never tried to please me or do nothing for me. That's some real selfish stuff.
No, it's not. Everything I did was for your best, your best interest. But I wasn't doing it because I was trying to please you so you would like it. Because I really didn't give a damn if you liked it or not.
Well, I learned something new in these past recent weeks about motherhood. Since I am now a grandma.
Of what, 5 damn puppies?
Yeah.
Your grandma?
I am a grandma of five puppies.
Okay.
Yes.
That is
raising 6 dogs on my own.
Okay.
My house.
Okay. You raising 6 dogs, but baby, I promise you, that's nothing compared to raising a child. 6 dogs in 8 weeks, 6 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks is nothing compared to raising one child in
Well, I have been having
year.
A little bit of mom guilt because I felt like I failed my kid because she just came up pregnant and we didn't even know.
Okay.
Until she went into labor, like she hid. It was like a whole teen pregnancy that she hid from us.
Okay.
And now she's stealing. She's stealing.
Why? Because you're not giving the food?
We are feeding her, but she stole a whole chicken sandwich with no tomatoes. Ate the whole sandwich, bread, chicken, lettuce, mayo.
Well, as a parent, do you think you deprived that child?
I feed her dog food multiple times a day. She literally
you didn't feed her what she likes. Obviously, she likes chicken sandwiches and not the damn dog food.
Okay. Well, I'm raising a thief and a a teen
hoodler,
mom.
a teen mom. Okay.
Yeah, so I did feel a little bit of mom guilt. But what I will tell you that watching my dog, Evie, come into motherhood has given me a very valuable lesson that my friends who are moms told me that if I could learn that lesson before I have kids, it'll put me way ahead of the game.
And what lesson is that?
To not have like real mom guilt. So like, for example, when Evie gave birth, it taught me you naturally, like she didn't read a book.
Nope.
She didn't take a Lamaze class,
Nope.
but she delivered those babies on her own.
Mm-hmm.
She, did her animalistic duty to rip the umbilical cord, eat the umbilical cord, rip their sacks open. Like she did everything to fully deliver those dogs on her own. And I was so amazed because I'm like, I didn't even know you was pregnant. So I wasn't prepared. And for you not to have known and you automatically just jump into mommy mode, nursing and feeding and taking care of it. Like she knew everything. So it lets me know that like when people be like, okay, your mother instinct will just kick in.
Mm-hmm.
It just will kick in.
Absolutely.
That's one thing. Also too, now, like you said, they're like 8 weeks, literally. She's been nursing them the whole time. Of course, they eat a mixture of dog food as well, but she is basically over them dogs. Like she be like, she be running from them. She be trying to get them. Like they be trying to suck on her and she be like kicking at them, like gone. Like,
in other words, Evie, your dog.
She's over it.
It took her 8 weeks when it takes us about 18 years. It's like, okay, we're over you.
Yeah.
Get your shit and move on. Yeah.
No, but not even that. I think that sometimes some people, not even just to kick your kid out, it might take 18 years, but to like get to that point where you as a mom need your own personal space.
Yes.
Like you think that, I don't know why as a kid you don't really
just think
that's necessary.
Right. But just think 8 months and the dog years are like 7 time hours. Mm-hmm. So 8 weeks. So, but there's like 7 years ahead of us. Mm-hmm. So just think about that.
That 8 weeks is probably like, they probably like 15, 16.
Yeah. And she's done.
Yeah.
She's tired. And if a kid has gotten on your nerve
onto your titty
and has latched on that much, you are ready for that kid to be able to stand on his own. Mm-hmm. You're ready to push it out of the nest. You're ready for that kid to go and be, an adult.
But she's very much like a provider and protector at the same time. Because it was something running through like the woods. It was like 2 black things. I don't know if it was rabbits or it was something kind of big enough where they were something, but it's small. They were still kind of small and they were running through. And I guess she thought that they were trying to come into the yard to where they were. And she was going crazy to protect them. Like she ran up through the woods and was chasing them. And I'm like, oh, you a real mom. But then when she come back and they want to latch on, she like, like, go. So it's just like, I really understood that moms go through that where they do need their own personal space. And it's naturally okay to not want to be bothered, even if they infants, even if they are, toddlers or young.
I don't think most parents really, really get to that point until the kids are like teenagers, because when you are really in tune with being a parent, you understand that the kids need you at that young age, so you expect to have to be there to help guide them, to help nurture them, to help, take care of them. But then when they get up and grown, and don't let them get up and grown and disrespectful or combative or challenging, you're like ready for them to go even sooner. Go find your way, you figure it out, and just leave me the hell alone.
But even before you're ready for them to go, I think that you still got tired of being around your kids all the time or someone needing something. Like you got to think about an infant, a toddler literally needs you for every little thing. Like that can be overwhelming. That can be annoying. But young women go through that during postpartum.
Yes.
Where they just need a break.
Yes.
They don't want to be bothered or they need to be left alone. Like Evie will take herself on a walk. She will. I be like, you coming back? Where you going? She just be off into the woods. Like, child, I just need a break. So I think that like witnessing that now makes me feel like, okay, no matter what age stage, it's okay to take time for myself.
Oh, absolutely. And I would encourage every mother, if you don't, and that goes back to that old saying that it takes a village. if you don't have your village,
Somebody
your
must have told Evie that.
right? If your village isn't already built in, like your grandmothers, your aunts, your uncles, and then sometimes you got to be careful with those. But sometimes that village may be, a good friend or, an extended family member,
A mom group.
or maybe
All your friends with kids. Hey, y'all, you get all the kids one Saturday.
Absolutely.
And everybody get a break. And we'll get 'em next.
Absolutely. So sometimes you got to be creative and build that so you can get that day, hour, couple of hours, away from your children, so that you can get some me time.
Yeah, I think that I think that you should practice that as early as possible.
Yeah.
Even when you don't feel like you need it yet, don't wait till the light is on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't wait till your engine on E before you go fill it up.
Because somebody might get hurt. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you be went off and then you be like, oh, why did I just do that? It's like, because you need a break and you don't realize that you actually need a break.
Because I tell anybody, and I'll say this until, to the bitter end, raising children is one of the most difficult things in the world, I think. I don't care what you go through, what challenges you may face. If you are a parent and you are truly raising your children, I think that's one of the most difficult things in the world to do. And you should be commended.
What makes it so difficult? Is it just because they don't come with a rule book and we're all different?
Yes. And there's so much that you go through. Not only, you always got to be mindful. See, when you're raising children, you always got to be thinking about somebody else before you can think about yourself. And some parents say, well, hell, I come first. That's not really raising your children, because I think when you raise your children, you understand that the level of priorities.
Well, I think the kids should come first, but not all the time.
Yeah, because the decisions you make are always going to affect the children.
True. But if you don't put yourself first as a mom and fill your cup first, sometimes.
No, because what you have to understand is
I'm putting me first.
No, you got to understand this. Mm-hmm. First of all, you have to know children didn't ask to come here. Okay.
I mean, I understand that.
No, children didn't ask to come here. So until they're old enough to fend for themselves, they got to be priority.
Well, I'm teaching them early.
No.
To fend for themselves. Babe, go make you a bowl of cereal.
No. I mean, I'm not saying you got to be there for the ever beck and call. I'm not saying you can't let them go make a sandwich. Yeah, you got to teach them independence. You got to teach them how to take care of themselves and grow up. But everything you do, see, as a parent,
I feel like you put me first every single day.
You may not have felt that way.
All the time.
You may not have felt that way.
You ain't never put you first. Because I felt like you was putting you first sometimes.
In what way? In what way?
I don't remember.
In what way? So how can you say you felt that way?
I know I have.
Because you probably felt like, I wasn't giving you what you wanted at that moment.
Well, like, say, so you worked, right? Which I guess you go say was still putting me in our livelihood.
I could have chose not to work.
I know, but I'm saying you worked a lot. And then when you would come home, it's like you didn't have time for me. Like you were emotionally, because your job requires so much mental and emotional stress. Like you didn't have much attention.
I understand that there are sacrifices made. Yes.
So
yes, but I was making those sacrifices because taking the job that I took, although it was stressful and required a lot of me, it afforded me the opportunity to live where we lived, drive what we drove, eat what we ate.
So that was still putting me first.
Because you could attend the schools that, you attended, but not necessarily the ones I wanted to do, because you sabotaged that, but you were able to do the things you wanted to do. You always had lunch money. You always were able to get your Pat Jordans from time to time. You were, you didn't have to wear everything from the Goodwill.
So how did you put you first? When I never put you first?
When I would get rid of your little asses and you would go to your grandmama's and I had me some me time. I would go out, hang out with my friends, go do out whatever I wanted to do. Still time for me. hmm Did you think that when you were with your grandmama, you were spending the weekend over there, that I was just at home, just twiddling my thumb,
Oh no,
just
I knew
waiting
you
for
was
you?
out having you a hot girl summer.
Yeah, just waiting for y'all to come back.
Toe up from the floor up.
Absolutely.
Stumbling in the house.
Hey, it was my house to stumble in, but I had a good time.
So did you ever experience mom guilt? You ever feel guilty about making time for you or putting you first or prioritizing your time? Or you ever felt guilty for maybe leaving me at my grandma's house for too long?
Hell no.
Mm-hmm.
No, whenever I got those moments, I enjoyed them. Wasn't feeling guilty about it.
Well, why do you think some women experience that? That's like a whole thing. That's why it's literally called mom guilt. Or working. Some women feel guilty about working as much as they do.
I mean,
like they're missing moments.
Yeah, and I understand that because life is just so demanding. Depending on what type of job they have, it requires them to not to be away from the home. And I was watching a movie last night, and it's one of the new episodes on Paramount. Oh, excuse me. And I enjoyed so much. Part of the episode it's called Lioness, and I'm not, but there's a
Spoiler
sister.
alert.
Yeah, there's a sister on there who's married to the doctor, and she's kind of like the commander in charge of this tactical unit. And her job is so demanding, it requires her to be away from her family. Well, dad's at home. He's a doctor. He's trying to raise the children. They've got 2 girls, and she's giving her all the life lessons, and dad's giving her rules of don't do this, don't do that. And she comes up pregnant. 14, she gets pregnant because she didn't follow the rules. She was rebelling because she missed her mom. And her mom is really, really, really feeling guilty. Really, I mean, it's tearing her mom up because mom made a choice, her career choice. But I'm sure that career choice allows her and her family to live a certain lifestyle. But the child is suffering in the interim. So yeah, mom's feeling guilty about that. So I kind of feel her pain. But those are things that unfortunately we've got to figure out how to work through. Because mom is to just quit a job as this, tactical special op agent, come home and sit and lick the girl's wounds. And then the girl, just say she comes home and she doesn't, she puts her career on hold. She come home, she gives the child all the time, all the space. And now the child, I'm saying hypothetically, then the kid will probably start finding a way to bitch. Well, I can't, go to a certain party because we can't afford it. Well, mom, make that choice to come home and be with your child. I'm just saying, it's difficult, right? You're parent, you got to. It's hard. It's hard. That's the hardest job there is as a parent, because even if you make certain sacrifices for your children, you're always going to be questioned whether or not it was the right one to do, whether it was the right sacrifice to make, whether you chose the right thing or not. So you're always going to be, in a trial and error. Yeah, it's just going to be a trial and error moment constantly. And that shit's emotionally draining.
Do you feel like it would help if you explain that to your child? Or do you feel like, oh, no, you don't got to explain nothing because they're a child?
I don't know if it helps by explaining it to the children. Because, you kids have a way of trying to make you feel guilty about everything. About any and everything. Just because you figure you can. Just to get you a step up. Just to get something on your mama. You're going to throw the guilt trip on. Hell no, I wasn't going through that with you. You weren't going to make me feel guilty about the choices that I made.
Yeah, I don't think you ever cared.
No, because I made the best choices that I made for the reasons that I made them, and I wasn't going to feel guilty about them. Nobody was going to make me feel guilty about them because I knew why I was doing it.
So, but why do you think a lot of moms struggle with that though?
Because
they're choosing them
because they have not put on the big girl drawers and say, damn it, this is why I've got to do it. Don't allow my emotions to get the best of me. I'm doing it for the best interest of my kid, my family, or whatever, and keep it moving.
So do you feel like as a mom, you had a whole life and identity before you became a mom?
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you should still pursue your own personal dreams, goals, career ambition, even after you have a child, even if that means sacrificing a lot of that time with that child?
I think you do. That and the reason I said that is because if you don't, you're going to have a life of regret.
Yeah.
At some point, you're going to come back and I wish I'd have done this. I wish I'd have felt this. See, sometimes people have to be honest and real with themselves and understand that no matter what you choose, how you choose to go about it, it's going to be a struggle. And a lot of times people do things to take the easy way. Well, I decided to stay home with you and raise you because that was easier than trying to juggle raising you and, having a career at the same time. Those are choices we make.
Yeah.
I chose to have a child and pursue my career. And it wasn't easy. It was a struggle. It was a juggle, but that's just, I wasn't afraid of the challenge.
I personally feel like you should still pursue your own dreams, career goals, whatever it is. Even if it's just something like picking up dancing or whatever your hobby, whatever you want to do. I feel like your interests are still your interests. And like you said, you were a person before that kid and you gonna always have those desires in your heart. They're not gonna go away. So either you gonna fulfill them or you gonna regret that you did it.
Absolutely.
And it's so funny that you said it because it was actually this cartoon. It come on Netflix, but I don't remember the name of it, but it's some weird little cartoon that Carlos like watching. But it was on TV last night, and I was just reading my book, but I could hear it in the background. And the mom on the cartoon was pregnant, and it was at her baby shower. And so all of her family and friends, like, they were wondering why, like, they were playing a game where you get a clothespin if you say baby. But the mom never mentioned or never said nothing about baby the whole time. And so they were like, at the end, they was like, what's wrong with you? Why you don't seem excited to be having this baby? And even though she was married, already had 2 kids, she was like, I'm really not excited about this baby because I feel like a failure because I've put myself off for so many years. And she was like, I had dreams of going to school and then I got pregnant the first time. Then I put that dream off. And then I had dreams of starting my career. And then I got pregnant again. And so she was like, I was just starting to feel like me and get me back. And then here I am pregnant again. So she was like, I'm really not looking forward to having this child. But her expressing, one, I think it's admirable. And I think that women should be given the space and freedom to express their true feelings about it, because having children or being pregnant and changing and altering your life is huge. And it comes with a lot of different mixed emotions. And you might not feel excited about that all the way.
But guess what, though?
But you should still choose to, like you said, juggle and make room for you.
Or better yet, choose not to have the baby. It's okay. Choose not to have it.
But what if you're married?
And hell, I mean, so what? You're married, okay? And let him have it. Shit, if that's possible.
We all wish we could do that.
My thing is, don't let him tie you down that way. Okay, then make a decision then. If you're going to be pregnant and you want to have the baby, let him sit home and raise the kid. And you go out and pursue your career.
Yeah,
make that decision. It's okay, honey, since you want to have this third child.
Ain't no man doing that. I mean, I ain't gonna say ain't no man doing that, but a lot of men aren't willing to make that.
Well, guess what then? Damn it, we shouldn't be expected to make it either. Baby, oops, I'm pregnant.
Or what if he, at this point,
oops, we're not having this one.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times men are the sole provider for the household, so they not.
They used to be.
Sometimes. We saying sometimes. Sometimes men are the sole provider for the household. So some of those, even if they don't make the bigger paycheck or bring home the most bacon or whatever, a lot of them still not going to take time off their job or quit to be a stay-at-home dad.
Well, guess what? women, mothers, potential mothers, don't fall in that trap. Don't do it. No, don't do it. Don't. Let me tell you something. The reason why you shouldn't do it, because like that lady not having that third child, she's not excited. She's not happy. And for what you're saying, she damn near don't want it.
Yeah.
So why bring a child into that environment? I mean, a child, for all practical purposes, should be brought into a loving environment. I mean, that may sound far-fetched, they may sound crazy, but if you are not, ladies, women, future mothers, if you're not at a point where you can bring a child into a loving environment, regardless of how the child was conceived, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because all you're doing is perpetuating those feelings of anger, those feelings of resentment, those feelings of unwantedness, those feelings of not being loved, on that child, and that child doesn't deserve that.
So what if the couple is married? Because I know you say don't do it, but my question is, do you feel like, say Susie is married to David and they are pregnant and Susie doesn't want to have the baby, but David does.
Then that's
what do they do?
That's a conversation that Susie and David got to have. But if Susie is at a point where they're not ready, then Susan and David better have a serious conversation, and Susie better go get herself checked out.
If Susie wouldn't have had an abortion without telling David, would she be wrong?
Nope.
Because she's married?
Nope, she wouldn't be wrong.
And
she may be married, because at the end of the day, David's going to keep doing David. And Susie going to be home trying to take care of that child, resenting that child every moment. You know, unloading all those feelings of whatever onto that child. And is that fair to the child? No.
Yeah.
Then the kid's going to grow up and they're going to be in a household constantly button battles, and constantly there's going to be conflict constantly in that house. Why?
Yeah, something similar like that happened on the Miss Pat show on season 3. I was crazy. I was watching this episode like last week. But Miss Pat she was married, obviously, on the show. They already had like 4 kids, I believe. And she's now pursuing her career as a comedian, traveling on the road, on tour, and got pregnant by her husband. And she went and had an abortion and didn't tell her husband. Her husband was so upset. Like, why would you make this decision without talking to me? And she felt like, it's my body, it's my choice. And like you said, I don't want to stay home and raise this kid, because at the end of the day, my career just not getting where I wanted to be. My career just not getting where I wanted to be. And we already got 4 kids. So it's not like this, you know what I mean? So it was like, what's the point? So she went on and did it and got an abortion without telling him. He was really upset.
Okay, I understand it. But then at the same time, I believe that Miss Pat had asked him, are you willing to stay home and become a stay-at-home dad and raise his child and give this child everything this child needs? And I bet his answer would have been, no, I'm the man. I'm the breadwinner. I'm this, that, and another. I've got to do this. So why should that be a one-way street? You know, what? I mean, kids are supposed to be a welcoming addition to the family. Mm-hmm. And the kid should be welcoming from both perspectives. Men shouldn't get to dictate what the hell happens. Now, I may get a lot of pushback from that. A lot of people may in the comments say, well, you know, that's what's wrong with women now. They don't believe that they should be at home and raising the children and this, that, and the other. But unfortunately, that's not the real world we live in. And
most homes can't even survive off of one check or one income.
Well, whether they
it's like the woman need to be working, especially if they got kids.
Well, whether the household can, whether the household can survive off that paycheck or not, I think that if they're not on the same page as to how this child is going to be provided for, and whether or not all the responsibility is going to be dumped on one person, then I think that, you know, I think the woman's decision trumps all.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. I think the woman's decision trumps all.
And actually, I think that men, whether you married or a boyfriend or baby father, whatever capacity you dealing with a woman, you should just be mindful of that and be, what's the word? Empathetic to her going through and having to make these decisions, because at the end of the day, like my grandma taught me, when you had them kids, them is your kids, and all that responsibility is going to fall back on the mom. If the kid is lacking something, or their hair not done, or they ain't ate, or they not halfway dressed decent, it's gonna be like, where your mama at?
They never say, where your dad?
Yeah, they don't ever say that for real. Where your mama at? What your mama got going on? Why your mama ain't fix you up? Why your mama ain't bring you over here with no food? Why your mama didn't do? It's always, but we don't look at the father to bear that much responsibility.
It's mama's baby and daddy's maybe.
I thought that meant like we didn't know who the daddy was.
Nah, that's full circles.
It mean like, okay, maybe he might take you, maybe he not. Okay.
Daddy might be home in time to do the homework.
So what do you think?
Some daddy, you might get a daddy that's, very attentive. And I will say there are some amazing single fathers out there.
It's some amazing dads that's married.
There's some amazing single fathers out there. There are some amazing men out there that are very, very, very attentive to their children and the children. Some dad, like for instance, your cousin Chauncey, Michelle will tell you in a minute. Those are his children. They literally look to him for all of those mother qualities. She'll tell you, man, I'm not finna nurture them. He's the nurturer. Mm-hmm. There's some dads that are like that. But then there's some dads, the majority of them are not.
Well, shout out to those dads that's fully hands-on and not just paying the bills, but
right.
Raising and rearing up and the caretaking of the kids.
Oh, yeah, because...
And those dads who be taking care of the kids that were there before you got there, too.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Amazing men. Amazing men. There are some amazing men out there that are doing that. And they deserve that credit. They deserve those accolades. They deserve to be praised and given that credit. And I wish more men would take lessons from them.
Yeah.
Use those guys as examples of how to be, instead of being those kind, that we've had in our family as well. We know of a couple now that, don't call the kids. Don't have nothing to do with the kids.
I don't know them like that.
Like the kids never been to a school program, a school meeting, or school anything. Always look. And the excuse is, I got to work.
It's like, so did the mama, but the mama had to take off.
Right. Absolutely. Daddy work, mama work. Mama get up in the morning.
Get them ready.
Get them ready for school. Mama get up in the morning, get them dressed, get them fed, get them to school, get them go to work, come home.
Make sure they eat.
Get the kids from school, get them dinner, get their homework, get them to bed on time so they can. But daddy's just, I had to work. I didn't get off in time.
Do you think that you can tell what kind of father a man is going to be before having that?
I think how
much he's going to help.
I think you can look at his track record, what he did with if he had other children.
Right. I'm saying for sure how he treats his other kids, and I look at how a man treats his other baby mamas too.
Right.
But if they don't have kids yet, like somebody had to make the mistake first. How do they not? Like, how do you know?
I don't think there's a telltale sign.
Or a red flag.
A red flag. I don't know. Maybe there are some red flags. Maybe the red flags are just how they are as people. How attentive they are. I don't know, because some men could be very attentive to you and just not be attentive at all to the children.
That's true. Some men can be great romantic partners, but are not good fathers.
Yeah.
So does that make you a good man?
I don't necessarily
Like, can you be a good man without being a good father?
I think you can.
You could be a good man without being a good father.
I
You
don't
think you
know.
can?
I think there's levels to it.
Okay,
Maybe
being a
they
good man. You like on level 1.
right, and I think they would have to grow. That the being the good father, I think, is part of that maturity level. You know,
I don't think you could be a good man if you ain't a good father. I think that's part of it. I think
they got
there's
to
not
grow
a
to
woman
that.
alive that anybody would consider a good woman that didn't take care of her kids.
You may have a point there.
They would be like, you're not a good woman. You don't even take care of your kids.
Well, I think there's a level. You may be a good woman, but maybe you got to learn to take care. Maybe you got to learn how. You know, and I give everybody grace in saying that sometimes they just don't know. Like you say all the time, you don't know what you don't know. But I will encourage mothers and fathers out there to reward yourself. You know,
Okay, I was going to ask you what are some practical things.
Whether it is treating yourself, you know, I laugh because I remember my brother, who is a year younger than me. I bought this fabulous sports car one year. I bought me a Porsche, right? Bought a Pan America. So, you know, he married this younger girl and he bought him, you know, a short time after he bought him a Porsche, you know. A little while later, he calls me up, you know, he's got to get rid of the Porsche. I'm like, well, why? You know, this is your toy. You know, you've grown, you've matured, you know, you're this man, your kids are grown. Well, she's pregnant. So he has to go from a Porsche to a minivan, so to speak, you know. And I laugh because I just think that was just a cruel joke. You know, you have to give up a Porsche and go back to a minivan. But, you know, those are sacrifices we make as parents. So I would tell any parent, you know, along the way, you know, once you get to a point where you pour it all into your kids, treat yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, go buy you that Porsche, but keep it. No, you know, don't screw it up and go have to get another minivan.
Well, before you were buying Porsches, how did you treat yourself?
Anyway, go buy me a piece of jewelry. I love jewelry. You know, go buy yourself a ring. Go buy yourself a pair of earrings. You know, treat yourself to a pair of diamond earrings. Save up for it. You know, to the point where, hey, once that kid is 14, 15, or, you know, you reach whatever milestone you put out there, treat yourself. Mm-hmm. That kid graduate from high school, shit, go do something wild. Go take yourself on a fabulous vacation. Yeah. You know, get that. When that kid's out of your house, you know, and I used to always say,
you don't even always say out. Do it now.
Whenever you can afford it, treat yourself to, you know, milestones, you know. One of the joys of getting rid of the kids out of the house, you get to walk around naked. I ain't got to worry about nobody opening the door.
But who wanna?
If I choose to get a shower, get out of my shower, go to my kitchen and fix myself a whatever, whether it be a drink, whether it be a sandwich, whether I can do whatever the hell I want to do in my house with no children.
Well, spare me the visuals.
I don't care whether you have the visuals or not, but it's just the thought of having that freedom. Mm. You remember when you asked to come back home? Mom, can I move back in? And what was my answer?
No.
Right.
I don't remember, but I know your answer was no.
Yeah.
I don't remember asking, but I'm pretty sure. I don't even think it must have been a joke because I knew I couldn't come back.
Whether it was a joke or not, I wanted to make sure you knew the answer.
It was no.
It was no. Because I enjoy my freedom.
Yeah.
It's like, I enjoy the freedom, but I also love when the grandkids come over. You know, they always want to get up in the bed with you and sleep with you and lay on you and play. I love that time with them, but then I love my freedom.
Well, that's fair. And I think every mom should be able to enjoy their freedom.
Yeah.
Guilt-free.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Well, it's time for the record, where we have to set the record straight. So what do you want to set the record straight about today?
It's just, I want to set the record straight in saying that, you know, it's okay to let go of your guilt as a parent. It's okay to want to be or do something for yourself. And, after you've given your children all that you've given them over the years, whether they got it or they didn't get it, some kids are going to get, your teachings and some are not. But it's okay to be guilt-free.
For sure. And I would like to say, for the record, even though I don't have kids, it's okay to put yourself above them kids sometimes. Sometimes. All right, well, it's time for I Want to Know, where we get to ask each other what we want to know. We have to answer truthfully. So, what do you want to know? I want to know, did you ever feel guilty or have mom guilt for choosing yourself or your own? Like, did you ever feel, or even just anxiety about leaving me with somebody else? Or
I felt the anxiety. That did when you were much, much younger. When you were,
because mom guilt comes in different
I felt
packages.
I felt guilty, and I would be very conscious about not leaving you when you were very little.
With
Anybody.
Oh.
I did. I mean, my mother would always call, say, "Hey, bring the baby over. It's okay. I'll keep her." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "No, I didn't want to put that on anybody. I felt like it was my responsibility." So then I got a little older.
I was such an easy kid. Like
I'm sure you thought you were an easy kid.
I'm saying, like, it's not like you were like, oh, you can only feed my baby this, or they
no,
need
no.
Like, you weren't super specific. So it was like, literally, you just have to make sure I'm fed and dry.
Yeah. But I did feel that anxiety when you were much younger. But when you got to walk and talk and develop your own mind and your attitude, and the more that attitude was developed, the more I would like to hurry up and drop your ass off to mama, and as quick as I could. But you notice I didn't take you, your sister, to anybody's really, but to mama. I didn't really drop you off in the other places, the friends or other relatives. Only person I would drop you off would be to your grandmothers and your granddaddies. Yeah, when he was living.
Grandparents.
Grandparents. And that was it.
Okay. Well, it's okay. You don't have to carry that guilt.
I don't carry it. Trust me, I let that guilt go a long time ago.
All right, well, what do you want to know?
I guess when you saw Evie and realized that her mother instincts were kicking in, I mean, did you have any flashbacks? Anything come to mind? Was like, wow, now I understand motherhood a little bit more. I mean, did you have any sensations or
when Evie was giving birth?
Yeah, when she was, I should say this whole experience with Evie in terms of the giving birth, in terms of watching her go through those protective.
I mean, like I said, it taught me that motherhood is an instinct that it'll kick in. 2, don't feel bad for being over them. 3, that like it definitely takes a village, because I'm raising her kids. Like, even though she's making sure they're nursed and protecting them, I still got to make sure the crate is clean. I still have to make sure. And it also taught me that when I do have kids, I have to have somebody that is managing me, because Evie lost like, I think, a pound or 2 from nursing. And so when I took her to the vet, they were like, you need to make sure that you're making sure mom is eating, that you're making sure mom is taking care. So it's like because moms naturally neglect themselves for their children. Mm-hmm. So it made me realize, like, when I do have a kid, I have to have somebody who is going to be concerned with my well-being, even when I'm not. So it definitely put that in perspective, like, to be mindful that, it's okay if you neglect yourself, but then it's okay when you bounce back and you want to be, back into yourself. It's okay. But having somebody there to pick up the pieces and I don't necessarily think hopefully it is my husband, but it might be like a midwife or a nanny or hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Somebody for free that will come watch them kids, take care of them for hours when I need a break, and or that's making sure that I'm taking care of myself in the meantime. I think that was the biggest thing, is that you, as a mom, you naturally will begin to neglect yourself, and that it's wise to have people around you to be like, no, take some time for you. Or I got it, go do this for yourself. Or have you eaten today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How are you feeling?
Yeah.
Even though you can't tell me how she's feeling, but just managing her taught me that somebody would need to be there to manage me.
Okay. Fair enough.
I've learned a lot from my motherhood experiences. I'm a whole grandma here.
Well, good. Maybe now.
I got more grandkids than you.
Yes, you do. Yes,
Step your grandma-ism up.
Hell me.
Step your grandma game up.
That means that your sister says she's done with her two. So that means you got some catching up to do.
Well, no.
Well, it seems like to me you got some catching up to do.
All right, we're gonna holler at y'all because that will conclude this week.
So you just gonna ignore my question?
You didn't ask me a question
about you stepping up your motherhood.
What was the question?
Since your sister is done, are there any children maybe someday in the future?
I think this finger is still. What's there? Is there anything you're seeing?
No, I don't. So I guess we're still waiting, huh? The jury's still out on that one.
The jury is still out on that one. Okay. All right, y'all. That's been this week's episode of Mommy and Me. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel so you never miss an episode, and download channel 85.
Bye-bye.